If you are over 50 and your doctor just handed you a prescription for blood pressure medication, stop for a second. Not because medication is always wrong, but because there are things happening inside your body that your doctor probably never explained to you. And if nobody tells you what those things are, you will spend years managing a number on a screen without ever understanding what is actually driving it. Today, I am going to change that. I am going to break down exactly what causes blood pressure to rise after 50, what your doctor likely skipped over in your appointment, and what you can start doing naturally to support a healthier reading starting today. This is not about ignoring your doctor. This is about giving you the full picture. If you find this helpful, hit that like button. It helps more people over 50 find this information. Let's get into it right now. Here is the first thing your doctor probably did not explain. After 50, your blood vessels naturally lose some of their elasticity. Think of a rubber band that has been stretched for decades. It gets stiffer and less flexible over time. Your arteries work the same way. When they stiffen, your heart has to push harder to move blood through them, which raises your pressure reading. At the same time, your kidneys become slightly less efficient at filtering sodium out of your blood, which means sodium builds up and pulls more fluid into your bloodstream. More fluid means more pressure. None of this is your fault. These are real physical changes that happen after 50. But here is the thing. Your doctor often jumps straight to medication without ever explaining what triggered the problem in the first place. And without that understanding, you cannot make the right lifestyle changes to support your health from the inside out. Now let's talk about the biggest myth in blood pressure management. Everyone tells you to cut salt. And yes, reducing sodium does matter. But what your doctor almost never mentions is that sugar may actually be more dangerous for your blood pressure than salt, especially after 50. Here is why. When you eat too much sugar, your body releases excess insulin. High insulin levels cause your kidneys to hold on to sodium instead of flushing it out. So, ironically, eating a low-salt diet while still eating sugary foods and refined carbohydrates can keep your blood pressure elevated anyway. Research continues to show that people who eat the most added sugar have significantly higher blood pressure readings regardless of how much salt they consume. So the first real change to make is not throwing away your salt shaker. It is reading ingredient labels for hidden sugars in bread, sauces, yogurt, cereal, and salad dressings, because they are in almost everything. Here is something else almost no one talks about at a standard blood pressure appointment. Magnesium. Magnesium is the mineral responsible for relaxing your blood vessel walls. When your magnesium levels are low, your blood vessels stay tighter than they should, which directly raises your pressure reading. Studies estimate that a significant number of adults over 50 are not getting enough magnesium from food alone, and most doctors never test for it. The foods highest in magnesium are leafy greens like spinach, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate, avocado, and black beans. If you are not eating these regularly, your body is likely running low. You can also take a magnesium glycinate supplement in the evening. It absorbs well, and it doubles as a sleep support, since magnesium also helps calm the nervous system before bed. Before you take a medication that forces your blood vessels to dilate, ask your doctor to check your magnesium level first. Now this one is probably the most underestimated driver of high blood pressure after 50, and it is almost never addressed in a standard appointment. Chronic stress. When you are under constant low-grade stress, your adrenal glands pump out cortisol around the clock. Cortisol does something very specific to your body. It keeps your blood vessels in a semi-constricted state and signals your kidneys to retain sodium. Both of those things raise blood pressure directly. The challenge after 50 is that stress hormones also take longer to clear your system than they did when you were younger. A stressful situation at 9 a.m. can keep your cortisol elevated well into the afternoon. And most people are not even aware they are chronically stressed. They have just normalized it. 5 minutes of slow, deep breathing daily, 4 counts in, 6 counts out, has been shown to measurably reduce cortisol and blood pressure over time. That is not just relaxation advice. That is physiology. Let's talk about sleep, because this one surprises almost everyone. If you are consistently getting less than 6 hours of sleep, your blood pressure is higher than it needs to be. Here is why. During deep sleep, your blood pressure naturally drops by roughly 10 to 20%. This is called the nocturnal dip, and it gives your heart and blood vessels critical rest time overnight. When you cut sleep short, you cut that rest time short. Over weeks and months, this keeps your average pressure elevated, even if you feel fine during the day. Research has found that poor sleep is one of the most consistent predictors of high blood pressure in people over 50. And the connection goes both ways. Poor sleep raises cortisol, cortisol raises blood pressure, and high blood pressure then disrupts sleep further. The cycle is real. Prioritizing 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep is one of the most powerful things you can do for your cardiovascular health, and it costs nothing. Quick break. If you are watching this and thinking this is the kind of information you wish someone had told you sooner, I want you to check the link in the description below. I am recommending a natural health tonic formulated specifically for people over 50 who want to support healthy blood pressure and cardiovascular function naturally. It is designed to work alongside the habits we are talking about today. Click the link in the description to learn more and get yours. Now let's keep going because we still have some really important things to cover. Here is a mineral that rarely gets mentioned, but makes an enormous difference in blood pressure management. Potassium. Potassium and sodium work like a seesaw inside your body. When potassium goes up, sodium gets pushed out through your urine, which lowers blood pressure naturally. The problem is that most people over 50 eat far more sodium than potassium, which tips that seesaw completely in the wrong direction. The best food sources of potassium are bananas, sweet potatoes, avocado, spinach, white beans, and salmon. If you are eating a diet heavy in packaged and processed food, you are almost certainly getting too much sodium and not enough potassium to balance it. Before cutting salt out of your diet entirely, focus on increasing potassium-rich foods first. This single dietary shift can lower your blood pressure reading naturally without making every meal taste like cardboard. Let me tell you where the real sodium problem actually comes from after 50, because it is probably not where you think. Most people assume they can control their sodium by not using the salt shaker at the table. But research consistently shows that only about 10% of the sodium in the average person's diet comes from salt they add themselves. The other 90% is already inside processed and packaged foods, bread, canned soup, deli meat, cheese, condiments, frozen meals, and restaurant food. A single bowl of canned soup can contain over 800 milligrams of sodium. A deli sandwich from a restaurant can easily hit 2,000 milligrams. So hiding your salt shaker while eating processed food every day is like bailing water from a sinking boat with a teaspoon. The real move is cooking more whole food meals at home, where you are in control of exactly how much sodium goes in. Now let's talk about some of the most studied natural herbs for supporting healthy blood pressure, ones that most doctors will never bring up in an appointment. First is hibiscus tea. Multiple studies have found that drinking hibiscus tea regularly can produce measurable reductions in blood pressure readings. Second is olive leaf extract. It contains a compound called oleuropein, which has been shown to support healthy blood vessel function and reduce arterial stiffness. Third is garlic, specifically aged garlic extract, which has a significant body of research behind it for cardiovascular support. And fourth is hawthorn berry, used in natural medicine for centuries to support heart health and improve circulation. None of these are miracle cures, but they are real, studied, and largely ignored by conventional medicine because they cannot be patented or sold as prescriptions. Adding even one of these to your daily routine is a meaningful step forward. Here is one final thing your doctor may have never explained to you. A condition called white coat hypertension. This is when your blood pressure reads significantly higher in a clinical setting, at the doctor's office, than it does in your normal daily life. The stress and anxiety of being in a medical environment temporarily spike your reading. If you have only ever had your blood pressure checked at a doctor's office, there is a real chance your reading at home is noticeably lower. Home blood pressure monitors are inexpensive and widely available. Check your reading at home in a relaxed state, sitting quietly for 5 minutes first, twice a day for a week. Then bring those numbers to your doctor. That information changes the conversation entirely. You deserve to make medical decisions based on accurate information, not a single reading taken in a stressful environment. So here is where we land. High blood pressure after 50 is real and worth taking seriously, but it is not just a number to manage with medication and nothing else. The sugar connection, the magnesium deficiency, the chronic cortisol, the sleep debt, the potassium gap, the hidden sodium in processed food, the power of natural herbs, and the importance of accurate home readings, these are all pieces of the picture that rarely get discussed in a standard appointment. You deserve the full picture. Start with 1 or 2 of these changes this week and watch what happens over the next 30 days. And if you want natural support alongside these habits, click the link in the description below to get my favorite blood pressure support tonic, formulated specifically for people over 50 who want to take their health seriously and naturally. If you want to keep learning, feel free to subscribe to this channel. See you in the next one.